Muli ku Ntv era mbaniriza nnyo olwaleero 24 tutandise wiiki ekomekereza omwezi gw'omukaaga. Eno ye Ntv kusawemu nange Farida Nakazibwe. Ku kyalo Dokolo Gweri eri esoroti abayo bali mu kujaganya olw'omwana w'ekitundu eyakomyewo eyawambibwa abayekera akomyewo eka oluvannyuma lw'emyaka 9. Omuwala ono kati wa myaka 21 yasangibwa ava ku ssomero ne mukulu we wabula n'okutuusa kati mukulu we tebaddangamu kumulabako. Omuwala ono anyumya engeri gye yasobola okudduka okuva ku bayekera ne kaweefube w'ekitongole ki Red Cross okumutuusa ku bazadde be. Tugenda kulaga ebisingawo okugulira eryo naye sokola b'emitwe emikulu. Abasiraamu baagala gavumenti eveeyo ku by'ettemu erikolebwa bakuziza amadda ga Nuhu Mbogo.
The reason Jesus came was to bring justice.
Mpumudde naye ebyekisanja nkyabiriko nnyo. Bishop Zack Niringi w'e Kampala awadde obubaka obusembayo. Bo ab'Ekatakwi balumbye Kaawo ne Ssentebe lwa nguudo n'amalwaliro ebiri mu mbeera embi. Ate mu mizannyo ab'e Bufalansa emipiira gya Euro egisigadde nabo baakugirabira ku TV. Linda olabe Bungereza ne Italy bwe beetegese. Dakiika emu yokka yeeyise ku ssaawa mbaniriza nnyo eno ye Ntv ku ssaawa. Omulangira Kasim Nakibinge bw'abadde ku mukolo gw'okujjukirirako amadda ga Nuhu Mbogo mu Buganda okuva e Zanzibar emyaka mingi emabega, asabye gavumenti ekole kyesobola okukwata abatemu abagifudde empisa okutemula abasiraamu. Mu kiro ekyakeesezzawo lwajjo, Hajj Abubakar Kiweewa ow'ekyanja e Kawempe yakubiddwa amasasi agamusse nga tewannayita kiseera okuva Sheikh Abdulkarim Sentamu okubwa amasasi mu Kampala wakati naye nattibwa. Sentamu yali imaamu omuzikiti gw'oku William Street mu Kampala. Nuhu Mbogo ajjukiddwa olwaleero yali mutabani wa Ssekabaka Ssuuna II eyalwanirira ennyo obusiraamu mu ntalo z'eddiini ezaaliwo nga ekyasa ekye-19 kiggwako.
Njagala bakakase Supreme Mufti jakukola kyonna ekisoboka okukumbula bwe tulina olaba nti tufuna ani ayamukubya amasasi ate lwaki.
Nakibinga okwogera ku nnyiike gye balina abadde Kibuli ku mukolo gw'okujjukira amadda ga Nuhu Mbogo mu 1895. Ye Moses Kigongo mumyuka wa ssentebe wa NRM akubiriza abasiraamu okukwata ensonga n'obwegendereza newankubadde nga waliwo okusooba.
Tukwate ebintu mpola nga twetegereza Kurani bwe tugamba. Bwe tunaaba tukoze ekyo ng'ate buli muntu awamu n'ekitiibwa tujja kutambula bulungi bye twagala byonna tubituukeko. Ekikulu ekisooka timuyinza kulwana lutalo nga buli omu yeesudde eri.
Omukolo bano kwe babadde gwa kujjukira amadda g'omulangira Nuhu Mbogo ogubeerawo buli mwaka. Mbogo omu ku balwanirira ennyo obusiraamu naddala mu ntalo z'eddiini yawangangusibwa mu mwaka gwa 1893 ate n'akomawo mu Buganda nga 24 ogw'omukaaga 1895. Emyaka kati giweze 17 okuva ekyo lwe kyabeerawo. Mbogo kyabasinga yali muganda wa Ssekabaka Muteesa ow'olubereberye ye yawa Muteesa amagezi ku ky'okuleka abasiraamu basaalenga n'okusiiba. Ye omwere yalwanirira eky'abasiraamu okukomolebwa n'okwambala mu ngeri ebawula ku balala. Dini Lubo wa Sava, NTV ku ssaawa emu.
Webale nnyo Dini Lubo wa Sava. Bishop Zack Niringiye ennaku zino akalidde nnyo mu bakulembeze ng'abajjukiza okufuga abantu obulungi n'okuzzaawo ekkomo ku bisanja awadde obubaka bwe obusembayo nga tannawummula. Bishop Zack abadde mu myuka wa Ssaabalabirizi wa Kampala. Omulabirizi wa Kampala abeera Archbishop oba Ssaabalabirizi w'ekkanisa. Niringiye yalangirira nti wakummula emirimu gy'omwezi guno agende yeemalire ku bwannakyewa nga asomesa abantu obukulembeze obulungi. Niringiye agamba nti tagenda kukoowa kujjukiza President Museveni kuwummula wadde nga ne President yamulagira alekerawo kumusomesa ebyobufuzi.
Bishop Zack aweereza mu kkanisa okumala emyaka 20 yafuuka omumyuka w'omulabirizi wa Kampala mu 2005. Atambudde nnyo mu Uganda ne mu Amerika okusumba abakristaayo baayo. Gye buvuddeko yatandika kaweefube w'okusomesa eggwanga ebirungi ebiri mu bukulembeze bw'ensi obulungi. Muno mwe wava n'okulumba enkola ya pulezidenti okufuga awatali kkomo ku bisanja ekyatanula bannaddiini okwongereza ku ddoboozi lino, ekintu ekyanyiza abamu ku bakulu mu gavumenti. Ennaku ntono eziyiseewo, Pulezidenti Museveni yalagira Niringiye ne banne beemalire ku by'eddiini balekerawo okumusomesa ebyobufuzi. Mu bubaka bw'obusembyeyo, Niringiye yazzeemu okujjukiza Museveni nti kikulu nnyo okuva mu buyinza mu mirembe.
Cede power peacefully. Finish well. You will make history. A positive history in this country.
Niringiye ajjukiza bannayuganda bonna okwenenya kubanga Katonda si musanyufu eri Uganda olw'ebyo ebiriwo ng'okuttiŋŋana, enguzi, obubbi n'ebirala.
Listen, friend, your marriage, your family, your life is crumbling. You think things are well. They are not well. What is the call of God to you? We are one of those very few countries which makes heroes of those who've killed fellow countrymen.
Niringiye emirimu agiwummudde ku myaka 58. Waliwo abaali balowooza nti ayagala kuyingira byabufuzi, kyokka ekyo yakisambajja.
Oli ku NTV ku ssaawa emu. E Masaka enteekateeka ya musajja mukulu Alintuma Nsambu okutwala ekifo ky'omubaka wa Bukoto South eyongedde okugwamu na kisasa n'emiziziko. Waliwo banna NRM abalala abaganye okumuwagira wadde nga NRM yasindise Dorothy Hyuha ayongera okukunga abantu okuwagira Nsambu. Banna NRM bazze balaga nti bakuwagira muna DP Matiya Nsubuga nga bagamba nti tebeeteekera Nsambu eyadda ku kabaka wa Buganda n'amuyisaamu agengege.
Ekinoni ku ssomero lya Seke Secondary School, amyuka Ssaabawandiisi wa NRM Dorothy Hyuha yabadde abuulira bannabukoto nga Nsambu bwe yeesimbyewo ku lwa NRM mu butongole ng'ekiwangala mu ggombolola y'ekiseka. Abamu ku banna NRM bali mu kutendereza munna DP Mathias Nsubuga.
Ndi musajja wa NRM. Ndi musajja wa ki? Kulutono kaluka Mathias Nsubuga nze nga ndi mukambwe.
Ennaku ntono eziyise, Nsambu yali ayimiriza ku kampeyini ze olw'abantu b'omu Bukoto okumulangira olw'okujolonga kabaka wa Buganda. Nsambu byagamba nti babimuwayiriza. Mu wiiki eweddeera, amawulire gaafuluma nga galaga nti Nsambu yali anoonya omukisa okugenda e Mengo okwetondoola ebigambo ebijerega n'okuvvoola bye bamulumiriza okwogera ku kabaka. Esseke ku ssomero, Susan Nakawuki ne Dorothy Hyuha baasabye abalonzi okusonyiwa Nsambu. Ye Kiwangala, banna NRM okwabadde Abudu Kiyimba ssentebe w'eggombolola y'Ensangi mu Wakiso n'omubaka wa Kyotera Haruna Kasolo balinnya akadaala ne balangirira nga bwe bawagira Nsubuga owa DP. Kiyimba yeekokkodde abamu ku banna NRM abeefuula nti be balina okusalirawo bannakibiina gwe balina okuwagira.
Bwe mbadde nzija mukama wange ankubidde essimu, mukama wange embabazi, ng'ayise musekule w'NRM wa Kiso nanokimba batugambye baluwa zone bakulopye nti akalu kabukolo sausi akabali ntuma nsambu gokononye nemugati mukamange mbadde nkusama yambala kukaluka amatu yansubuga nze NRM mpadde sente.
Okulonda kwa Bukoto South okunaatera kwakuddamu okujiza ekifo ekyalimu Muyanja Mbabaali kooti gwe yagoba mu Parliament olw'obuyigiriza obutawera.
Ntv kusawemu abatuuze mu district ye Katakwe bambalidde abakulembeze baabwe ku ngeri emirimu gye giddukanyizibwamu. Abantu balumiriza kaawo oba akulira abakozi ku district ne ssentebe wa district nti balemereddwa okukola ku bintu omuli amalwaliro n'enguudo mu bitundu okuli Usak ne Ngarayim. Omuntu waffe yabaddewo ng'abantu bano batambula okutuuka ku district okubuuza bekikwatako lwaki bafudde amakubo ekivuddeko amakubo okufuuka ebikubo n'amalwaliro okusigaza erinnya lyokka.
Abatuuze bano ababadde abanyiivu ebyensuso bava mu magombola okuli Usuku n'Engarayimu na bino biri mu disitulikiti y'e Katakwe. Baagala kunnyonnyola lwaki empeereza y'emirimu mu bitundu byabwe embi ate era abakulu batangaze ku bibawulira nti ssente za disitulikiti zikozesebwa bubi nga tewalina ayinza kulaga mbalirira ntuufu.
The services are being messed up. So, and people are seeing, name it in terms of health, in terms of the roads, in terms of NADs, already have had. The other day, President sent a team here, 70-80 million discovered lost.
Kawe Katakwe Milton Katwe ne ssentebe wa district Robert Ekongoti abatuuze be batadde ku nninga. Abantu bano beetoolodde ekibuga ky'e Katakwe nga bwe bawanise ebipande okuli obubaka bwe baagala okutuusa. Poliisi yayingidde mu nsonga eno ntandika okutambula n'abeekalakaasi sikulwa nga bava mu mbeera.
It is very clear on your letter which you wrote. There are some names of people who are supposed to enter, and others can wait outside.
Oluvannyuma beevumbye akafubo ne kaawo kyokka tekavuddemu kirungi kyonna oluvannyuma lw'okugaana amyuka ssentebe wa disitulikiti okubaako byayogera ku nsonga zaabwe.
The issue is between Cow and LC Fire Chairman. There are issues that the Congo himself is supposed to answer. There are issues he is supposed to answer as a chairman. So he cannot be a representative of a Congo. He can be a representative of what? The district chairman.
Obusungu bw'abasusse ne bafuluma mu ofiisi ya Kaawo nga baweranga bwe bagenda okwesa makubo amalala okulaba nga Kaawo ne ssentebe wa disitulikiti bakwatibwa ku nkoona.
Why is he coming to enter into? Why?
The issue.
Why? He knew we were there. The next action is Plan C, which I will not tell you now. For us as a team, we shall tell you. There is no discussion about any meeting again until we see the what?
Members can we come together?
12 zeziyise ku ssaawa emu webale nnyo okubeera naffe kati katumbulemu katono ddala tovaawo bino bye bimu ku biri mu kitundu ekyokubiri. Essanyu omuwala amaze emyaka 9 mu buwamba akomyewo awaka. Enjogera ya nnyumba tebaamukuba ekyakola linda olaba ab'edda gye baayisangamu omugenyi awaka.
This is NTV.
The mountain gorilla is considered endangered species, with only about 720 mountain gorillas left in the world. And these live within 4 national parks split into 2 regions: Bwindi Impenetrable Forest National Park, Mahinga Gorilla National Park in Uganda, Volcanoes National Park in Rwanda, and Virunga National Park in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The gorilla is the largest of all living primates and has a robust build with long muscular arms, a massive chest, and broad hands and feet. It has longer and darker hair than other species, allowing it to live and travel at high altitudes where temperatures drop to below 0 degrees Celsius. The gorillas can be identified by nose prints unique to each individual. Male mountain gorillas stand up to an average height of 6 feet and weigh from 400 to 500 pounds, that is 227 kilograms, making them the largest of the great apes. Adult males are called silverbacks because they develop a streak of silver hair on their backs with maturity. The silverback is the leader and the ultimate protector of his band. The mountain gorilla is most active between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Most of this time is alternated between foraging, eating, and resting. They are herbivores and consume large amounts of vegetation.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
NTV kusawemu ekyagenda maaso mawulire amalala mu ndeeba y'ekyampisi mu district ey'Ekayunga poliisi yetandise dda okunoonya Farouk Majwega ne banne bwe beekukumye ku by'okubba ebyuma by'ekkanisa okuli emizindaalo n'ebirala. Majwega olwawulidde enswagiro z'abapoliisi abaakoze ekikwekweto ky'okuzuula ebibbe mu kiro, omuzigo mwasula yaguyise manju n'abulawo.
Farouk Majwega oluusi ayitibwa Majwenge kigambibwa nti omu ku bakulu b'ababbi mu Kayunga. Poliisi y'Ebukoloto bwe yazizza amaka ga Majwega wasangiddwayo ebyuma by'ekkanisa y'omundeeba Champions ebyabula gye buvuddeko. Ekkanisa n'ebadde tekyalina mizindaalo.
Tufunya amawulire ku poliisi nga gava omu ku bannannyini bintu abasabira mu kanisa eyo be basusse okujja ku poliisi nti ebintu byabwe byabbibwa mu Gwakutaano.
Naye mu byonna tubadde twesiga Katonda nga tusaba nga tugamba Katonda atukwatire abantu abo, twebaza Mukama nti olwaleero ebintu byaffe tubirabye.
Ebirala ebyasangiddwa ew'omusajja ono kati anoonyezebwa kwabaddeko emifaliso egisukka mu 10 n'ebintu by'omumaka ebirala bingi.
Tugeze okumenya ennankanya ennyumba netusanga ng'ebintu ebisinga obulungi byonna bibbe bubbi.
Nze abadde ngajja ekiro nga mpulira kuba eddirisa eryange lisula liggula olw'ensonga nti nze obulamu bwange tebukwatagana na bbugumu nga mulaba oluusi ebintu abireetera kagaali n'abisitula n'asooba mpola taganya banneyiba be bali kukola ki kuwulira luggi.
Abatuuze beekokodde obubbi obukutte wansi ne waggulu mu Champions. Abatuuze mu ndeeba okuva ekiro bali mu kunoonya Majwega gwe bagamba nti bajja kumukolako wonna w'anaabagwira mu 5.
Naye nze nabanga mbakutte omubbi oyo tuba tuba kibooko nesizo niyo mwanyi nasula mu mwanyi nga nkuuma kuba babbi batuganye.
bivudde Kayunga. Emboozi ku lutalo lw'ekiyeekera olwa Joseph Kony terigwa. Ogenda kulaba Tabitha Pio omuwala Kony gwe yawamba wanga wa myaka 12 n'amala mu buwambe emyaka 9. Abatuuze b'eddokolo Gweri mu Soroti babadde bali awo nga ku muwala waabwe kuba amaaso essanyu ne libula okubayiza. Apio kati w'emyaka 21 anyumya nti yasobola okudduka ku bayeekera ba LRA bwe baali basaliikiriza okuva mu Central African Republic okudda mu Congo.
Eyo y'essanyu eryabadde ku kyalo ng'abazadde n'abooluganda bajaganya olw'okudda kw'omwana wattu amaze emyaka 9 mu buwambe. Mu 2003 Tabitha Pio yali ava ku ssomero ne muganda we abayeekera ne babawamba. Okuva olwo abadde abeera n'abayeekera nga gye badda naye jadda. Mu 2010 bwe baali baddika okuva mu Central African Republic okudda mu Congo, Apio yafuna omukisa n'adduka. Anyumya nti banne baali basala oluguudo ne yeekweka mu kisaka. Yalaba abantu babadde ku mugendo babuliddeyo naye n'asala amagezi agabulawo. Yatuukira mu basirikale b'amagye aga Congo nabo abamukwasa aba Red Cross. Era okuva ku olwo Red Cross ebadde ng'efuba okumutuusa ku booluganda lwe okutuusa mu wiiki ewedde ku lunaku olwokuna. Apio kati alina emyaka 21 era ayagala kuddayo mu ssomero atandikire we yakoma mu 2003. Muganda we Ted Yachamu yali wa myaka 14 n'okutuusa kati tamanyiddwako mayitire. Olutalo lw'ekiyeekera Kony lwe yatandika mu bitundu by'amambuka ne mu Teso lwaleka amabwa mangi agajja okulwawo okuwona. Mu disitulikiti ya Moria, Cecilia Maya ayimiriddewo ku bantu ab'ekisa okuva abayeekera lwe batabba ye ne baleka nga bamumenya omukono. Alugerisu Wakero yagwa mu bayeekera bwe yali ava ku mukolo ne bba ne mujja we. Bba bwe baamutta abalala ne babakumako omuliro ng'enkovu ze balina kati zibajjukiza ebyaliwo buli ddakiika buli lunaku.
NTV kusawemo ennaku zino naddala mu bitundu eby'ebibuga omuntu bw'akyala n'asussa olunaku oba ebbiri abawaka batandika okwewunakanya ddi omugenyi lw'anaakyaluka. Ekituufu kiri nti abamu baba tebaakyawa mugenyi azze mu maka gaabwe naye obudde obutono n'enfuna mu maka egenda esereba buli lunaku embeera ya mugenyi akyaluka ddi weva. Olwaleero mu mboozi eya Nazzikono twagala okumanya omugenyi mu maka bwe yayisibwanga kubanga enjogera ya nnyumba teri mu kkubo si yajjo. Nazzikono.
Waliwo enjogera egamba nti mu nju temuba kkubo. Kino kitegeeza nti buli muntu akyala awaka abeera mugenyi era nga tonakuwuliriza kimuleese sooka omwanirize bulungi. Waliwo omugenyi asooka okulagaanya ne wabaawo oyo agwa obugwi ate ne wabaawo n'oyo ajja olw'ekyo ekiguddewo gamba ng'okufiirwa, embaga, olumbe n'ebirala. Kibi nnyo omuntu okukyala awaka ne batamusanyukira era ekino bwe yaddangayo yagendanga akiyumya anti bagamba nti omugenyi abeera mugeyi.
Bwe baamalanga okumwaniriza omugenyi yenna nga tebannaba kumulamusa baasookanga kumuwa kati kano kennyini ngaako kooliko oba nze kano kendiko mu luganda otufu tukayita kati bwe yamalanga okutuula ne batandika okumulamusa abantu bawaka bonna babasanzewo ne bamulaga ki essanyu.
Taata omwami kimukakatako okusigala ng'anyumikiriza omugenyi ono gwe omukyala n'ogenda oteekateeka olwendo lw'amazzi oba n'ebyokulya ebyabe byoyagadde okulaba nti musanyusa omugenyi ono mu ngeri okudda eriki olubuto. Bajjangayo naye tulino n'olwendo lw'amazzi ebyo by'omu nnyumba y'Omuganda tebibulamu. Ne bw'oligenda tambula olalo mu Kampala olabe weewaawe mwanyiza obutazisanga naye amazzi mu firiji gabeeramu bamugasa okukwata ku lwendo lw'amazzi.
Waliwo abalowooza naddala ennaku zino nti buli muntu ajja waka aba aliko kyazze okusaba. Weewaawo abajja olw'ebizibu gye bali waliwo abakyala n'ekigendero eky'okunyweza Oluganda, omukwano n'enkolagana. Bajjajjaffe baliko obukodyo bwe baakolanga okukuuma omugenyi nga musanyufu ebbanga ly'amala waka. Muno mulimu okumunyumiikiriza.
Omugenyi ng'avudde wala nga takoma nsanyusa okulaba era waddange bwe yeetoolanga bwati eradde nnyo munnange eradde nnyo osuluta nga waliwo okubuuza okwo nange ebiseera ebimu waliwo natuukiranga mu bakadde baneeraba nti olinga nnyaniriza nnyo nolaba ngaakuddamu enfunda nga 5 buli lwakyuka.
Si kya buntu bulamu kuleka mugenyi ng'atudde awo mu nnyumba yekka talina gwayogedde naye olw'okuba muli eyi mukola ki mwefulukuta byokukola ki byokuteekateeka ebyokulya nabyo.
Kekano kenkugambye ndi bw'abanga tolina muntu amunyumiikiriza oli woddira oluyingira eri noddamu naye nsanyusa okulaba era dde nyoge balamu n'omubuuza n'omuddamu enfunda nga 8 kubanga bw'otoomunyumiikirize awuubaala.
Bwe mwagendanga munyumya oluusi mwatuukanga ku muki ku mulamwa naga nno munange naze naye nina ekizibu.
Abaganda bagamba nti oluganda kulya olugenda enjala terudda. Ennaku zino mu maka agamu nga tewalaganyiza nti ogenda kukyala ne woosanga nga balya bayinza obutakukombya ku mmere. Edda bwe wakyalanga nga bw'okyalidde beetala nga bafumba okukusanyusa era okusinziira ku kiti ky'ogwamu n'ebisolo byasalibwanga.
Ate jjukira omuganda yabeeranga n'ettooka eribeera ku lusebenju. Omugenyi yenna bwe yakyalanga yagambanga bugambye abaana nti abange eri eriri ku lusebenju lya nnyumba muligyeko muki omugogo ne lika wansi. Awo noona abaddaze okukyala n'amanyira ddala nti ddala wenkyadde maka g'abaki g'abantu.
Tekiba kyampisa kumubuuza onoosula tukuwe ku mmere. Ekyo kibuuzo mu Buganda baliki tebakibuuza era afe Abaganda bakulidde mu nno zino kombuuza tukuwe ku mmere ngamba naze ndi buki bulungi ne wembange enjala ebadde ekola ki ennuma etya ngamba naze ndi buki bulungi.
Bw'obanga oli mukoddomi we n'agamba nti omunyonyi gugwe.
Naye kaakati sebo omulembe guno kukwasa enkoko noyingira bw'otyo naye tula naleeta enkoko bw'ati.
Olwaleero abantu babeera ku mberenge abantu babeera mu mandaazi ge baba basadde soda. Olwo oluba okugguka mu maka g'omuntu bw'ati akubuuza which drink do you want to take? Gwe n'olyoka oddamu nti ekooko. Aha, olwo lwe lwendo lw'amazzi olwaleero oluliwo. Ate dda mu Buganda wataabeeranga kooko banywanga ddala mazzi maki amazzi ne bagafuka ne bagajja mu nsuwa.
Wadde omugenyi yasibwangamu nnyo ekitiibwa bwalinga buvunaanyizibwa bwe naye obutakaluubiriza bakyalidde.
Nze sirabangako obukoje basala nkoko zisukka emirundi 2 ne bakusalira olwaleero enkoko ne weebaza nti muko weebali n'enkya ne baddamu ekintu kye kimu ne basala enkoko ekivaamu ng'abantu batandika okwegugunga nti owaaye ffe tukeera kukola tukeera kutwala baana ku ssomero tugeeti tuleka tugigadde asikaali yasigala wano.
Omugenyi ennaku yazikola ki yazipimanga ezakola ki zakyaliddeko obanga wakusula olina okupima obudde oleme naye kalulizo ono gosokola ki okukyali awo nno obuntu bulamu bwali ku sayidi zombi eri ono akyaliddwa ate n'omugenyi azokola ki okukyala.
Akaseera ak'okukyaluka nako kalina engeri gye kateekanga kamukyaza ku kigezo anti bagamba nti obutawerekerako omugenyi si kyampisa kubanga oluusi kano ke kaseera weyayogereranga ekyamuleese naddala nga kyakyama. Okwerekera bakuyita okulinnyira omuntu mu bigere.
Gw'okulembera ekkubo munnange ngenze ng'akusiibula nga gw'okulembera okwata omugugu gwe tagufulumya gw'ogufulumya ng'okulembera ng'akuvaako emabega. Akati n'olwo w'omuwerekeredde oba omuwerekeddeko ekitundu kya mayiro oba bibanja 2 oba omutuusiza mu siteeseni ayizeki nga yakwata kkubo ng'agenda.
Oluusi abo bangi nnyo we baayogereranga ku byama naga nti owaayi nteekateeka okukola ekiraamo kyange naye ensonga zino tubadde tetuyinza kuzigaaya oba omukyala nga awulira naye olwaleero omanyi lwaki kivuddewo ebiseera okunoonya ssente n'abantu balowooza nnyo. Ebiseera bino byemmala nga nkuwerekera kilomita 1.5 nkutuuse ku kkubo gy'ogenda okufunira emmotoka eno emabega mba nfiirwa ssente amaka go n'ogayimirizaawo oli.
Lwa mbeera yansi kukyuka abantu ne batandika okwekkaanya abagenyi nga batya engeri gye banaababeezaawo naye amaka gafuna abagenyi bagamba nti gaba ga mukisa era okwo balabiranga obugaga bw'omuntu.
Abiri musanvu zeziise ku ssaawa emu tugenda kumulamu katono ddala tovaawo bwe tudda bya mizannyo.
This is NTV.
Zebras belong to the horse family and are best known for their distinctive white and black stripes, with each zebra having its own unique pattern of stripes, just like fingerprints. There are 3 species of zebra: the plain zebra, gravy zebra, and the mountain zebra. Zebras generally stand from 4 to 5 feet at the shoulder and weigh around
siweze emu n'ekitundu mu mizannyo olwaleero Spain yayongedde okulinnya ku ttiimu endala mu mpaka za Euro 2012 mu kiro ekyakeesezza olwaleero Bufalansa gye bakutte obujega ne bagikuba ggoolo 2 ku bwerere bwetyo newanduka mu mpaka zino. Olwaleero England ne Italy bwakubeefuka era nga zinagenda okuwera omukaaga ekiro nga ensi etegedde ani ku bano ababiri alina embava ezikira.
Zabi Alonso yatebedde Spain goal 2 ezagiyisizaawo.
Xabi Alonso
guno gwabadde mulundi gwe ogw'ekikumi ng'azanyira ttiimu ya Spain. Bufalansa yeefubyeko okudda mu muzannyo naye nga byonna kusiwansano ku mazzi. Ebintu byayongedde okwononekera Bufalansa Spain bwe yafunye penalty mu ddakiika ey'ekyenda. Emyaka gibadde giyiseewo mingi nga Spain tewangula Bufalansa. Mu luzannyo lwa kwota olusembayo leero Bungereza ne Italy bugenda kubeefuka mu Ukraine. Danny Welbeck asuubira okuzannya omupiira guno akolagane ne Wayne Rooney banoonyeze Bungereza ggoolo. Andy Carroll ne Theo Walcott banditandikira ku katebe. Giorgio Chiellini tagenda kuzanyira Italy olw'obuvune bwe yafuna ku Monday ewedde.
Are you ready to drink at the table of men?
Bibadde bya mizannyo webale nnyo okubeera ku NTV akadde katuweddeko era abali mu byuma bantegeezezza mu n'entebereza y'obudde mugirinde mawulire gaffe ku ssaawa 3. Frida Nakazibwe mbaagaliza weekend nnungi musire bulungi era mweraba.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
Basically, reenact them. I'm telling you people, this is Tricksters.
Last week on Tricksters, Richard's dream date went up in smoke.
Hello? Hey.
Kakati Anita ngina soka mtwale muserena. Over mtwale mwanjenwa. I'm going to give her the What is this?
And how Richard's TV turned into bricks.
TV from where? From Kampala. Richard, TV, you're back. TV. What is the pictures? TV. I've got a TV from Kampala. What is it? What is it? Images. From Kampala. TV from what is this?
Some kind of a
TV from Kampala.
And tonight on Tricksters, Ramla create a nightmare for some poor unsuspecting fellow. Coming up on the show, an act of kindness exerts a price.
Sweetheart, you husband snatcher.
Sweetheart.
What are you talking about? Watch out! God. You, watch me. Banange, I don't know that man. I don't know him.
And Brenda tries to cut a bargain and loses all.
Okukola kino kikive obulungi. Kakole bwe nti kambalekere sente tusooke
Now, some conmen take the conning business as a business venture. You see, they have con managers, con directors, con secretaries, even con shareholders. This is how they play it. The con managers come up with the cons. Then the con directors divert attention, while the con secretaries ensure that everything goes to plan. The con shareholders, well, they simply cash in. Are you confused? Have a look at this next skit. It'll all make sense. As I wonder, when will I ever buy a car like this one?
tulonda kubanga tetukyakuyita katukubu bukyanga tulonda
musajja kyogo kakazi kazi mukuula kakiba kagikuula kwani
kagijjewa
Here comes somebody.
Kapia.
Alike motoka.
Eyo yakava mu bondi eyo.
UAM.
Eyo.
Simezo zezibenzi.
Kati ayenza obuuza nze nawe.
It's very nice. It looks new.
Esajja kyekiwoma okukuula ekyo.
Okubba ono okuteekamu emputu ya motoka kizu nabba ku motoka.
Naye neera sirina
Nabano.
Ipu. He has put the keys in the right hand pocket.
Have you seen the keys?
Olinda ki? Genda. Kiwedde era mulandoozi okitegedde.
Ntegedde ate munaye nazze kola.
Right hand pocket.
Tokwata ewalala.
Anti oyinza okwerabira n'onyeza mu left. Right.
Nangu okigire.
Bye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh.
I'd like to take a J's, please. Thank you. Thank you, please.
And so, the stage was set for Charles as the hero in this piece and Ramla as the damsel in distress. Edwin is ready to help them along.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi, baby.
Excuse me? Can't you see me drinking?
Hey.
Yeah.
Say
I
drink.
am drinking.
Chichi nawe, may I have my money? You just order for any drink and they give you.
Please.
Huh? Can you give me your number, please? Can number?
What? I don't even know who you are. Hey, please.
Huh? Number.
You Malaya. Where do you think you're going with my husband? What? Malaya? What are you talking about? Husband?
I've been suspecting you for a very long time. And now I've found you.
What? Please.
Sweetheart, Sweetheart, tugende.
You think you're going to just snap your fingers like this and just wreck people's homes?
Sweetheart,
you husband snatcher.
Sweetheart.
Are you talking about?
Watch out!
Oh God.
You, watch me.
Banange, I don't know that man. I don't know him. In fact, that gentleman is my witness.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Is she saying the truth?
Yes, she is. Okay, and in fact, that man just walked onto her table. By the time you came in, she was about to go out.
Really?
Yes.
Sweet. Madam.
I'm very sorry, madam. Madam, I'm very sorry. Can you have this? Oh, my goodness.
Like a true hero, Charles rises to the situation.
No. I'm very sorry for what has happened. Okay? Please, take my word. Please, take my word. No.
So, as Charles was busy confronting Ramla through her ordeal, she was busy relieving him of his keys.
Very bad. Okay? Cool down. Take your heart. No. Please. No. Oh, my goodness. Take your heart. Take your heart. Please.
Don't shoot me.
Hey, so soon? Excuse me. Excuse me. So soon? Just hold on. Just hold on a bit. No. Just hold on. Just hold on. It's very bad. This is my car. Okay? Just ring me when you need any help, please. Okay? Please.
The next time you try to be helpful, make sure you don't get swept away by the tide.
Where is my car? Where is it? Where is my car? Oh my goodness.
Women. Men can never seem to do without them. Now, usually I have great advice for you. This time I have simple advice. Men, stay away from beautiful women. No, wait, that's bad advice. What can I say? Just be careful. Now, some people tell you that money makes the world go round. Tell you what, I'm actually beginning to believe so. If you make someone believe that they're going to make a lot of money or a huge saving just like that, I tell you, they're bound to act irrationally.
Everyone loves a treat, and an excellent way to treat yourself is to buy something new. And when it comes to shoes, ladies cannot have enough of them. Red, blue, green, all colors and styles. Ladies will never stop buying. Dennis is inside the shop pretending to buy but actually looking out for a victim. Albert is stationed outside ready to assist him to pull off this con. And Brenda was just shopping for a pair of shoes. Good shoes.
Oh, mukuru. Kana kabloni kasente meka.
Kano kamitwalo mukaaga. Waliyo kali akalungi akali wansi kamitwalo mwenda.
Ngasika kuzanyisa akate.
Sewo. Sewo. Nedda siwe ekito. Nsobola kuya. Nsobola kuya.
How can you help me? Tell me.
I work in this shop,
right?
As the shop assistant,
right?
Okay? But they don't pay me very well.
Okay.
No, manye embere na kuzino nino okubeerawo.
Otyo?
Kakati, sobola genda mu store. Nkuletire engatte eyo. Mitwalo 5.
Are you sure?
Mitwalo 5.
Tano bagiti. Ibe yakolira.
Oyineza abakyala.
Yes, nazo gye ziri. Olina ko osimi. Kali.
Njagala kana ka black.
Ako. Yes, ako. It's American made. It's made in America. Kaliko mitwalo 10.
Mitwalo 10? Sir, my shop is very expensive.
Nsobola kuleetera emitwalo 3 naye kafa mangu. Kafa mangu nyabo.
Banange sibwaga kakati you want.
Nsobola gikula ku mitwalo 5.
Mitwalo 5?
Nsobola.
Kakati nze kanku mitwalo 5 ompenga teyo.
Chuchikola.
Ompenga teyo.
Kakati katinda kose winda kose. Omanyi si byangu kiri bwe kiti okuyinza ziteeka mu kikombasa kitegeera soko ziteeko izo ziteeko nyabo olaba engatte eyo engatte eyo ya mulembe ojajjambala okaddiwe paka welikadwe n'ofadda mikwano gyo bajja kusima nti oli nyabo w'omulembe olaba engatte eyo nga bwe masaamasa
kokuba naye
ka masaamasa ka mulembe ako
kalungi nnyo nakulwaye.
Unknown to Brenda, Albert is working with Dennis. Him handing over his cash, she believes it's a genuine deal.
Kati nyabo nawe izizo ziteeke mu.
Ekyo. Kyoki?
Nabo geto kwa mabulungi nnyo.
Okanfunira mu size 7.
Size 7.
Yeah, size 7.
Size 7.
Geto mwe? Bulungi nnyo.
Kitegeera. Kakati. Waliwo ekira indako. Enyinzo ogenda eri omanyi okukola kino kikiveewo bulungi kakole bwe nti kambalekire sente nsooka ndiite engatto okiraba emumpe sente okiraba tekikola nyabo
nsonga nnungi nnyo tuufu
kikola ekyo bwekwata sente zo zizo nyabo tokwata ezizo ngenda mu store nsooka ndiite engatto muleke mukole ki tekikira mutawaana kitegeera size 7
ako kena kenyini ako kensiimye oba oleeta
kale kanzije mwe
kale wagattubwa no bulungi buzibu bulungi ddala zibayita lindo tekawadde kabi kano I think made in Italy.
As the waiting grows longer, Brenda feels secure because she believes she still has her money.
Akati gwe ngenda mu ndolo omukyalo ne ombuzi kwatagala ku musajja ono nange nzikire mmange eno gyali jagenze ndabe
naye kale nakasita sente zakuzina
zituzirina akati genda omukyalo oyo nzije
Never jebale. Kale nyabo. Kati mina there's a gentleman I met out there. Angambe agenze kundeteranga to mu store. Oloza natero kudda. A gentleman? Yeah, a gentleman. There is no gentleman working with us here. Ate tewali gwe twasindiseko genda mu store. Naye omusajja ngambye agenze mu store kundeteranga. Ebambi sente zazitutte. Munanga abafere bangi ku street. Nedda munange sente zange zonziina. Naye ngambye agenze kundeteranga. Sente zonziina. Kye kirungi then. Mama nze. Bannange. Omusajja nzibye. Akubye nange omusajja nzibye. Nziriza bipapula muwadde emitwalo 5. Omusajja nzibye.
In this con, Brenda lost her money without realizing that it had gone. She saw Dennis with 2 envelopes, one for her and another for Albert. The fact is, Dennis had a 3rd envelope already filled with papers. When Brenda gives him her money, he puts it in the right-hand pocket. When he gives her money back, he gets an envelope of papers from the left-hand pocket. The exchange is very swift, so Brenda does not realize the trick. So, the moment you're window shopping and strangers next to you start discussing prices, it's time to run.
Now, most of us like to look good. I understand. In Uganda, culture and style is everything. But before you lose your money to style, make sure you know something about the shop you're going to buy goods from. And pay attention to your surroundings. Now, trust is a big issue. Some of us have issues trusting our own friends, let alone strangers. But there are those situations whereby you simply have to throw caution to the wind. Now I'm telling you, those are the situations con men are waiting for.
We had on their use, brother.
Edwin is ready to embark on his next con. Ronald, his victim, is just enjoying his game like everyone else.
Half past 7. Half past 7. I suck Maramba guys to start with. Waitress. Pale ya time watano. Kuja kutunyumira. Kuja kunyuma. Atabazama beka. Au mpira gende. Tabone yeni. Oh, you see? I have to call my wife. Omanyiwe ndwayo. Ayomba. Wange ayomba yomba. Ayomba. Abakazi. Batutana. Sorry. Give me a phone call and I load and I call her. You want? It's okay. Okay. Olaba abana abo kucaution I mean kukuwinga awo. Balungi nya. Yo wingi twamala. Twamala okuba Suppose you want to call. Yeah, let me load on your phone. Sorry. Yes. 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 From which country are you? Look at him. I don't know. 49.
Hello? Hello, sweetheart. Hello?
The groundwork done, Edwin is ready to make his final move.
You extend. Go to Uganda to Uganda. Wagulu.
Billy, no far with me.
But no, we were some baby. And what copa, what copa? Need to jump over. But copa, you lasagna.
As for Ronald, the game has not turned out too well after all.
What's he? Oh no, you're married. No, what is it? Kaunga. What's he? Oh, why you know, man? Umgambe from more. You can't see. Wait. Mwana mto. Naziri. They are going to add it. They are going to see me. Tricksters. Can you tell me? What are you going
to excuse me. Do you have a phone? Can I borrow your phone? Okay. Thanks. Well, that's it from us here on Tricksters. Don't hold back. Give us your reactions. Tell us what you think. Most importantly, if you've been conned before, tell us about it. Send us an email to tricksters@ntvuganda.co.ug or hit us up on Facebook. And, well, basically, we'll reenact your cons. This has been Tricksters.
Hello and welcome to Log In, where you get logged in and granted access to all of the wonderful things in the capital of happening, Kampala. So many things that I love to do. Dancing is definitely one of them. I love dancing, I love watching dances, you know, from traditional dances to Chigunda dances. Not night dances though, no. But this weekend we were at the Contemporary Dance Festival in Kampala, and there were dances from all over the world. Dances from America, Japan, Rwanda, even right here in Uganda. Amazing festival. Take a look.
Jingles in your dance for you.
The Dance Transmissions Festival has been amazing. There's been so much variety and so much growth, especially from the local dancers, and it's been great to have other countries. There was Congo, Tanzania, Kenya, even South Africa and the US. So it's nice to kind of put ourselves against the international grid and see where we stand.
This particular piece is memoirs from our childhood, our primary school days. And so we remembered that we had classes in between. There was the A class, the B class, the C class, and we tried to identify with each of them. And so we found that we could just relate with each of the groups, because we knew about the people that were in the A class that were like hot and everyone liked them and stuff. And so then comes the nerd, you know, and in every class I guess there's a nerd.
I love the witchcraft thing. It was so real. Of these are things we hear about. The witch. Yeah, it was witchcraft. The night dancers, because this is something we see. This is something every other day you hear when you're in the village. Yeah, actually those guys night dance, and when the body is dead, they can make it move. So it was so real.
The reason why we came up with this concept was to try and develop audience for contemporary dance, promote professional choreography, and help the upcoming dancers and choreographers to learn how to reinterpret, assess other people's choreographic generations and creations.
We're three women working in like a dance theatre kind of form, and we're exploring how it is to be a woman in a man's world. So we took the theme of boxing, which isn't a sport that women really do so often. And yeah, we looked at the struggle, sort of the boxing ring as a metaphor for a battlefield. Yeah.
The whole dance piece is like a thirst of the best, a quest to reconquer that candlelight that is burning in every human being. We all want to get to a better place. We all want peace, to live happily in harmony. And that is, for me, a message I want to give to Rwanda, to Ugandans, to Kenyans, to Zimbabwe, Somali, everywhere that there is conflict. This dance piece is for you. This dance piece for peace. And that's the main message for me.
When you learn new things, isn't it? Interesting dances. But speaking of new things, my dad tells me that in Uganda, when cell phones were new, there was only one mobile operator, Celtel. So everyone went on to call their mobile phones Celtel. Anyway, Celtel became Zain, and Zain has now become Airtel. Airtel is officially in Kampala. I attended a launch at the Kampala Serena last weekend, and it was just amazing. Breathtaking decor and a beautiful performance by 3 of the 1-8 artists, Amani, JK, and our very own Navio. Take a look. Well, new things are very amazing to learn. There's a new mobile operator in town, and there's a new show on air, although we're not so new, some people will say. Anyway, take a break and we'll be right back after the commercial break. You're watching Log In. You're still watching Log In. Now throughout the show, I've been going on and on about new things. But it's because I like new things. New things are nice. And when I learn something new, I get to brag. This weekend, I definitely learned something new. At Makerere University, the Music, Dance and Drama Department had 200-year anniversary paying tribute to Chopin. Now, Chopin is Frédéric François Chopin, Polish composer and one of the great masters of romantic music. Some of Uganda's most distinguished pianists paid tribute. Take a look.
The event is meant to stimulate talent in those aspiring musicians, as well as enliven the memories of Chopin, who had a profound effect in the field of classical music, especially in romance type. And this type of music will even go further down the millennia to come. As opposed to music which is full of words. The words will soon fade away, cultures may change, languages may fade away, but this one stays forever.
That was a beautiful performance from some of Uganda's most distinguished pianists. Now, piano concert is always live and intimate and nice. Sometimes you need more instruments. You need a drum here, a bass here, something to liven up the mood. To feel like you're at a live concert, but not too far away from the artist. Now, at Unplugged, you can actually reach out and touch the musician. This month was Omulangira Suna's turn, OS, and he was accompanied by Dr. Jose Chameleon and a number of others. Unplugged this month was off the hook. Take a look.
Send dedication to the Veneto. Nebona bansirise Timbira wansobi wangu Musango ya chiche Agambe chachawa Nasude mchinyangu Nini mulongo lwangu Sikisangwe kute Pamatawa matawa Yakeze na bagaga Ready za for ready Abafuga zipenzi Steady Jagalo kumanya chichi chenako Tuimbe mufena Jagalo
Suna's performance has been good. Yeah, the turn up has been good. The live too, they did it quite good of the live band.
Jade kyakabinnyo mwana naffe tubaddewo nange nebaza Katonda mwana okunzija mu bulwadde ndi wakabinya kya besi nalo knowledge.
It was large, people were happy, had a blast.
It was wonderful. Suna is very, very, very talented.
Nafuka mulalu bewandalula kwependowooza
Everything was so amazing tonight. The show was so marvelous. I really thank my fans. The turn-up was so good. It was unbelievable. I thank my fellow artists. It was so good for them to come and really help me out.
Era kwentunula ku kalenda nevumitiriza olunaku luno lwendoza eyansenseranze yewe baby omulungi kwendowooza eyo gyoli gwe eyo gyoli gwe njagala okimanye nti ndi ku mutima.
It's been a fair performance. Nice.
Yo, this is the baby love, the number one DJ, the baby rock.
The only baby in love.
Yes, man. Log in, NTV. Along when I come in out the best, be just a bomb in out the best, bad man, or I'm not a gambler. You log in to log in. Keep logging.
you're logged. NTV OS.
Unplugged was very exciting. Now stay tuned to Log In because we'll be right back with the buzz, a variety of hearsay, after the break.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
If you thought President Museveni's hit single You Want Another Rap was the last music you hear from him, think not. Mr. Museveni now plans to take time off his busy schedule to record and release an entire album of songs. Now we all know the president speaks a number of languages. Wonder if he'll be able to rap in these languages too. According to the new issue of Star magazine, Britney Spears was beaten by her boyfriend Jason Troward during an alleged phone conversation with ex-husband Jason Alexander, who, by the way, she was married to for 55 hours back in 2004. Recently, but representatives for the toxic singer and her agent. Britney also reported that not only did Troward give her a black eye, but he also cheated on her with a teenager not identified. Despite all the denials, RadarOnline.com acquired an audio recording of the conversation between Britney and her ex, which this tape appears to be the smoking gun in this case. It's killing me every Which music superstars will be vying for trophies at the 53rd Annual Grammy Awards, and who scored the most nods? The Recording Academy announced the nominees during the star-studded Grammy Nominations Concert Live Wednesday night on CBS. Eminem led the pack with 10 nominations, Bruno Mars scored 7, and Jay-Z, Lady Gaga, and Lady Antebellum each earned 6. The nominees for Best New Artist nominees are Justin Bieber, Mumford & Sons, and Esmeralda Spalding. Record of the Year nominees include Nothing on You, B.O.B. featuring Bruno Mars, Love the Way You Lie, Eminem featuring Rihanna, F.U., CeeLo Green, Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, and Need You Now, Lady Antebellum. Discs nominated for Album of the Year are The Suburbs, Arcade Fire, Recovery, Eminem, Need You Now, Lady Antebellum, and The Fame Monster, Lady Gaga, Teenage Dream, Katy Perry. The list is long, but catch the 53rd Annual Grammy Awards on Sunday, February 13th, 2011, 8 p.m. on CBS.
And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. Yeah, I know you wanna dance. Can't figure out why y'all said it's over. The club's acting about to blow over.
Tyra Banks top model Cycle 15 on Wednesday night. Although Chelsea impressed the judges with her commercial good looks, they found Anne's look to be more editorial and ultimately gave the title to 6'2" Dallas student Anne. A tearful Anne says she felt honored by the win and couldn't even believe it, cherishing her own win after suffering comments about being too tall, just for her part had no great love for the victor, saying bitterly, "I feel cheated. I feel the whole package and I don't think Anne does." And that's all we had for you this week from Login. We'll be back same place, same time next week. It's just been so great doing events and after events, and I'm hoping to get even better. So if you have any views or anything to say, log in at ntv.co.ug. That's our email address. I'm your host, Susan Nava, and I'm logging out.
gifted by nature that aptly describes Uganda. Today, on Showcase Uganda, we experience what goes on during the extraction of one of Uganda's mineral resources. Uganda is naturally endowed with an abundance of flora and fauna, in addition to a notable collection of mineral resources like gold, copper, cobalt, and oil. Our travels today will finally take us to where we shall witness the extraction of salt from Lake Katwe. After traveling for about 4 hours through Uganda's beautiful landscapes, we find ourselves in Bushenyi district. It is a cooler district than the others we have visited so far, the countryside lined with numerous stunning low-lying hills. We are intrigued by the vast farmlands we are passing through, so we decide to make a brief stop and admire one of these farms at Itendero. Back on the road, we soon come upon the Itendero Matoke market. The district is one of the country's main producers of matoke, which is also its staple food, in addition to akaro, potatoes, and cassava. We behold vast matoke plantations along the route that are typical of the region, which brings us to the Kabohe market, which also specializes in matoke. In spite of the fact that coffee is the main income earner in the district, matoke is a farm favorite. From Kabohe, our route continues through Mushanga, taking in more striking sceneries which punctuate our journey right up to Bushenyi town. The town is small and peaceful. Here, you get a feeling that time stops as everyone goes about their business with a lack of that sense of urgency characteristic of major towns. The town also hosts the district's headquarters, and you will also find a state lodge. After Ishaka town, we travel through the impressive plantations and beautiful hills of Chamhunga. By and by, the scenery changes and we are confronted with lovely green tea plantations. Apparently, tea is widely grown. Since we wanted to admire more of these lovely scenes, we head for the Finlay Tea Factory. Nestling deep within the plantations, the factory is responsible for processing the tea grown in the area. The factory provides employment, which has made a favorable improvement in the standards of living in the region. Some of these estates overlook the majestic Maramagambo forest. This is one of the largest rainforests in Uganda, stretching from to Lake Edward and the Congo. It is a medium altitude, moist, semi-deciduous forest, characteristics which make it one of those forests that are increasingly becoming rare in Africa. Due to the volcanic activity in the area, it has very spectacular lakes and craters, one of which is Lake Rutoto. Lake Nyungu is another crater lake where a lot of fishing is practiced. It is evening when we tackle the final leg of our journey to have arrived in the environs of Queen Elizabeth National Park. Right before our eyes lay the splendid Kazinga Channel. The channel is an impressive long body of water that links Lake Edward and Lake George and is a dominant feature of the Queen Elizabeth National Park as a tourist attraction. It draws a varied range of animals and birds, with one of the world's largest concentration of hippos and numerous Nile crocodiles. It also provides water for domestic use for the local people and fishing opportunities. Crossing the Kazinga Channel takes us right to our destination, Kasese District. Cruising through the park provides us with some pleasant views, and soon we reach the equator. Crossing the equator twice in one day is a new experience for us. First in the east at Masaka, and now in the west at Chikorongo. By the time we arrive at the hotel, where we would spend the night before proceeding to Lake Katwe, the sun was going down. When Showcase Uganda returns, we take a trip to Lake Katwe and witness the salt working. The next day we rise with the sun, full of anticipation at the thought of the day's adventures. Breakfast is a refreshing experience. At breakfast, we sit at the terrace overlooking the majestic Rwenzori Mountains. Bathed in the cool morning mountain breeze, the view is breathtaking. The misty mountains are looming proudly over the countryside, resplendent in the early morning. We vow to tackle this amazing mountain at some point on this trip. Definitely get up there to bask in the glory of looking down at the After breakfast, we hit the road, making our way to Lake Katwe. But first on our agenda is Lake George, where we hope to catch a glimpse of some of its famed animal life. We were not disappointed. There, in the brilliant azure waters of the lake, were pods of hippos lazily swimming about. Hippos spend the majority of their time in water, emerging at night to feed. They live in large pods of up to 40, with one dominant male. After marveling at these huge mammals, we take off again, and soon our progress is a bumpy ride down to the lake. But this is compensated for by the unique scenery we are passing through, made up of fantastic rock formations. Even from a distance, the lake is spectacular, with its mosaic patterns made up of sword pans. Lake Katwe is an explosion crater lake and is 7 meters at its deepest and 3 meters at its shallowest, with a circumference of 7 miles. Mining of salt in Lake Katwe has been using traditional methods. Is still going on today under the Lake Katwe Salt Company Limited. The lake has over 30 freshwater inlets, which contributes to its inexhaustible supply of salt. Collecting salt is the major activity at the lake, where 3 different types of salt are harvested by both men and women, though the women keep to the shallow water for health reasons. The 3 types of salt are harvested from individual divisions called pans. Grade 2 washed salt is for domestic use. Grade 2 unwashed salt is used for preserving hides and also animal consumption. Rock salt, or magadi, is formed through sedimentation and is extracted by men in the middle of the lake. It's transported using amber logs, which are light and easily float.
We have 3 economic activities. 1.
Tourism is another activity carried out at the lake, which receives a considerable number of visitors, both local and international, all eager to learn about this fascinating activity.
This one has its unique characteristic. It has inlets on its sides, those we can call them streams, which keep on pushing water into the main lake every day since the lake was created. Yeah, so whenever we receive rainfall, during rainfall seasons, the rainfall water penetrates through the rocks that you see around here. Rocks, some of them are permeable rocks. So the water penetrates through the permeable rocks, goes down underneath and meets there another impermeable rock. Then the rainfall water is not able to penetrate through that impermeable rock. And then that water collects to form a small stream, and which stream goes up to the main lake. So on this lake Katwe, we have more than 35 streams. So those streams, after entering into the main lake, in the main lake there are some small vents or small holes. So the fresh water, which doesn't taste salty, it is tasteless, penetrates through those small vents, goes down 400 meters in the middle of the lake. 400 meters, there is a mother rock of sodium chloride, which is present in a solid form. And that rock goes through Lake Katwe, through Lake Munyanyange. Yeah, so that fresh water dissolves that rock down, and you know this is a volcanic area. We expect pressure down, which forces that water, after leaking on the sodium chloride rock, then the water changes to another solution, which is called saline water or brine. So that brine underneath, it is pushed by pressure through the upthrust force, and then it comes back into the main lake. So that water that you see in the main lake, it is from underneath mixed with rainfall water.
You can arrange for a guided tour at the Katwe Tourism Office in Kasese, which also offers. When Showcase Uganda returns, we experience some wildlife in a serene environment. After a wholesome tour of the saltworks, we decide to unwind by communing with nature. Our explorations take us to the flamingos of Lake Katwe and Munyanyange, which is a seasonal lake. At this time of the year, there are only a few flamingos, as most have migrated to Lake Nakuru in Kenya. They are more numerous during the rainy season. Flamingos filter feed on brine shrimp. They are oddly shaped, separate mud and silt from the food they consume, and are uniquely used upside down. Flamingo tongues were considered a delicacy in ancient Rome. Our cruise through Queen Elizabeth National Park yields a troop of olive baboons. The baboon, of all primates in East Africa, most frequently interacts with people. Apart from humans, baboons are the most adaptable of the ground-dwelling primates and live in a wide variety of habitats. Intelligent and crafty, they can be agricultural pests, so they are treated as vermin rather than wildlife. They sleep, travel, feed, and socialize together in groups of about 50 individuals consisting of 7 to 8 males and approximately twice as many females plus their young. For the first month, an infant baboon stays in very close contact with its mother. The mother carries the infant next to her stomach as she travels, holding it with one hand. By the time the young baboon is 5 to 6 weeks old, it can ride on her back, hanging on by all its 4 limbs. In a few months' time, it rides jockey style, sitting upright. Between 4 and 6 months, the young baboon begins to spend most of its time with other juveniles. Just by the blue waters of the channel, we find a herd of the mighty elephants. They look so peaceable as they graze, you could almost think that you can actually get out of the car and stroke one, but we dare not. We are The baby elephant is particularly cute looking, and it's amazing to think that a calf can actually weigh up to 120 kilograms at birth. The calf is surrounded by a large group of female elephants. Apparently, baby elephants are raised and nurtured by the whole family group made up of mother, aunts, sisters, and daughters practically from the moment of birth. As we are wondering at the reddish and brownish patches on their bodies, we learn that this is a result of wallowing in the mud holes of colored soil. The mud acts as a sunscreen protecting the from harsh ultraviolet radiation. We crown our explorations watching the Uganda kob. Next week on Showcase Uganda.
Welcome to this edition of Who We Are. Last week we were in Mbale, where we found a Jewish community struggling to fight extinction in the remote Nabugoye Hills. And today we share in the experience of a people that have for a long time been misunderstood to be fierce. This is because these semi-nomadic herders, the Karamajongs, have not received much exposure. But who are the Karamajongs? In order to understand who they are, let's roll back to the 1600s to trace their origins. The Karamajongs are Nilotic herders from Abyssinia, where population explosion made it harder and harder for them to find water and pastures for their animals. In a beam, we passed through this rather forested hill, which has been a danger zone for many years. The warriors would hide amidst the trees and rocks and attack civilians. Now that the warriors have been disarmed, the area is relatively safe. In fact, some people are coming back and starting to resettle. Farther ahead near Beam Trading Center, there are some Karamajong who are at least developed and do not live in manyatas anymore. Feeding the family and cultivation are roles which are shared between the men and women. From a beam all the way to Kotido and Kabong, we pass through semi-arid Karamoja that has little or no vegetation, sandy soils and thorny shrubs. After about 600 kilometers of travel, we reach our destination, Kabong district, the most remote region of Karamoja. Kabong was recently carved out of Kotido. Despite what we all have been made to believe about the attitude of Karamajongs, the reception we received here is unbelievable. The Karamajongs are very hospitable, kind and pleasant people. Without electricity or piped water and commodities almost double the price, it is indeed very hard to survive. Yet in the midst of all these seemingly impossible conditions, a peaceful and content community of Karamajong lives. The Karamajong is subdivided into clans, and the clans include the Bakora, Jie, Matheniko and the Dodoth in Kabong, with whom we are going to commune for a few days. When we return, we'll look at a typical Karamajong Manyata family. Dodoth homesteads are larger than those of other Karamajong and are more isolated from one another and are not built in open spaces. Located at the foothills for protection from strong winds, and is also a strategic place in the case of any enemy attacks. Surrounding the homestead, upright poles are thrust into the earth, intertwined with branches and packed with mud and cow dung, forming a sturdy wall with only one or two small openings. As many as 40 people live in one homestead. Each wife has her own hut and fireplace, and a dozen girls often build huts of their own next to their mother's huts. A dozen boys also build a larger men's house where they live before marriage. The Karamajong speak a language that sort of sounds like Ateso. This is not a surprise, as the Karamajongs are close cousins to the Itesots. Among most Karamajong peoples, men living within a homestead are related by descent through male forebearers. The Manyata we visit is headed by Iluka Longolmeyo, who has 6 wives and over 20 children. Iluka lives in this Manyata with his 6 younger brothers and cousins. Even though there is one leader for an entire Manyata, the different families in it are headed by husbands who have more than one wife. During our stay at Iluka Longolmeo's Manyata, we witnessed the roles women and men play in maintaining a home. A woman and take care of the general welfare of a home. Whilst the man takes care of cattle together with the younger boys as he grooms and teaches them on how to be good shepherds and pastoralists. This is Nake, a wife to Losuk, a cousin of Ilukal. She wakes up in the morning and starts preparing food for her family. The staple food for the Karamojongs is sorghum, maize, meat and bulrush millet. It's a green millet grain that is common only here in Karamoja. Since the Karamajongs are found in one of the most remote areas of the country, modern civilization has been rather slow in catching up with them. What more do women do in order to make a little money? We shall unfold that next on Who We Are. As a way of making money to buy beads, bangles and Maasai sheets amongst other necessities, the Karamajong women engage in making a local brew known as kwete. The process is same as that of making malua, the Itesot's local brew. This is incorporated in their daily work and inevitably a big and constant challenge which they face in this semi-arid part of Uganda is that of water. The region experiences more dry seasons and less rainy seasons, so the women and girls have to do all they can in order to find any trace of water in this harsh and uncompromising climate. Women and girls travel long kilometers in search of water in the scorching sun. But it's not only the people who are affected, but also the animals of this pastoral tribe are adversely affected by this scarcity of water. Much of Karamoja is dry, including all the seasonal rivers with the exception of River Apule in the Cradle Land. Whilst the women do all these things to try and maintain their families, some men and young boys take the cattle for grazing. Other men stay at home with the elderly ones and spend the entire day sniffing tobacco and generally doing nothing. Children do not go to school, and the girls are trained early on how to become good wives who will provide for their families.
Bas, yoponi ototinga ya bele. Kachamu ya bele lokoka. Ani kachamu ya bele lokoka. Haya lokoka. Paka nege. Ani ananguni adete angaitu ya lukdori alo. Wotai bas. Karamanyo lope. Kudongi kogunege.
The Karamajongs live and die for cattle, the determinant of seemingly everything in a pastoral life.
Ebe ni kilia da to tuaranga itu ani apolo ya eka katamtu itu no ya ava unio ani ava unio minno kile pene gidia una itu ota hauna malege ato yare am apake.
This is what drives many to live on the edge, as nomadic warriors are constantly on the move to find water, to increase their herds, to defend their own, and to get cattle for dowries.
This is NTV.
It's June 24th. Good evening to you and a very warm welcome to Sunday's NTV Weekend Edition. A very warm welcome. Now tonight, Egypt has a new president, and Reverend David Zak Nirinje has bowed out after 20 years of service. In his final sermon this morning, find out what the now retired Assistant Bishop of Kampala had to say in his highly politicized Sunday sermon. Be sure to have your say in tonight's NTV Weekend poll. Don't go anywhere this Sunday evening, starting right now with tonight's main headlines. The Muslim Brotherhood's Mohammed Morsi is declared the winner of Egypt's presidential runoff, prompting wild celebrations in Cairo's Tahrir Square.
Even as he retires, the Assistant Bishop of Kampala, Zak Nirinje, is still calling upon the president to step aside for a peaceful transition of this country. I'm Maurice Ochol to bring you that story.
The Capital Venture Fund, call it the Youth Fund, is what Uganda has adopted at the moment. 1 year later, the funds seem to be posing significant challenges and pressure is mounting on government. In our political future this weekend, I'm Jingo Francis with the rest of the details.
Uganda will soon start hosting international competitions where elite players in the world will be competing. Join me, Alfred Odong, for the story on the officials who are behind all this arrangement.
Once again, we are delighted you could join us for NTV Weekend Edition. I am Rachel Arinitwe. Now, the decision by government to allocate 25 billion shillings for the youth under the Youth Entrepreneurship Venture Capital Fund may have caused massive excitement among the youths, but the celebration is quickly dying out for the majority of the young people. And to begin this Weekend Edition newscast, that topic is the focus of our NTV Weekend poll. And we are asking, do you think government was prepared enough for the Youth Fund scheme? I repeat, do you think government was prepared enough for the Youth Fund scheme? To have you say, text your comment to 8778, followed by your name and where you're texting from. We shall be reading some of your comments during tonight's newscast. Now, news coming in from Egypt is that the Electoral Commission has announced the Muslim Brotherhood's Mohamed Morsi as the official winner of Egypt's presidential election and will be the country's next president. Morsi is said to have defeated former General Ahmed Shafiq with 51.7% of last weekend's runoff vote. He succeeds Hosni Mubarak, who was overthrown 16 months ago after a popular uprising. Thousands of Brotherhood supporters burst into cheers in Cairo's Tahrir Square, waving national flags, setting off fireworks, and chanting "God is great," greeting a dramatic victory tempered by the army's continuing role. Shafiq, a former Air Force commander and Mubarak's last prime minister, has offered no immediate reaction. He, however, promised to serve in Morsi's administration. Next tonight, retired Reverend David Zaknirinje, the Assistant Bishop of Kampala in the Church of Uganda, has called upon the leaders of Uganda to repent and turn away from their sins. He also called upon the President to live on a high note so that he can be remembered and honored as a hero. During his last sermon to the congregation, the retired bishop also stressed the way in which heroes are awarded in the country as inappropriate and called for justice. Bishop Nirinje has served for close to 20 years. Maurice Ochol has this story.
This was the last service of Bishop Zach Niringie after serving in the church for close to 20 years. The congregation was packed to capacity as many awaited to hear his final sermon.
I'm sure Diana knows, so...
He then took to the podium with the core message being justice. It's from here. He stressed how the country's rule of law is heading in a different direction, calling upon the country to repent and for President Museveni to retire peacefully. The bishop then stated that in his view, the president should go out on high note in order to be honored and remembered as a hero.
As you did it, do it again. Make a difference. See the power peacefully. Finish well. You will make history, a positive history in this.
Bishop Zach didn't stop at that. The outspoken cleric went on to caution the country to repent, looking at the fact that the country has faced a lot of bloodshed and that in his opinion, medals for heroes are not awarded appropriately.
Of those who've killed fellow countrymen. Who are our heroes? Who are our heroes? Who are our generals? Who did they kill? Ugandans. And we are a country. We should be leaders, us leaders. We should really rethink. We are one of those very few countries which makes heroes of those who've killed fellow countrymen. Who are our heroes? Who are our heroes? Who are our generals? Who did they kill? Ugandans.
For now, Bishop Zach is retiring after serving in different capacities. The cleric has recently been involved in political activism, where he has been particularly vocal with concern to the restoration of term limits. Maurice Ochol, Ntv Weekend Edition.
Now, a girl believed to have been abducted by LRA rebels under the command of Joseph Kony when she was only 12 years old has safely returned home to her parents in Dokologweri village in Soroti district after 9 years. Apio Tabisa was abducted along with her sister and over 700 people back in 2003 when the rebels attacked Teso sub-region.
9 years down the road, Apio Tabisa was in the hands of the LRA as a captive. It was Thursday when she joined her parents in this village called Dokologweri in Soroti district.
Even without first knowing the whereabouts of her sister with whom she was abducted, the now 20-year-old girl was received amidst joy not only by her family but by nearly all the village members who wanted to celebrate the return of their own from a rebel leader who terrorized them back in 2003. With shyness, the 20-year-old girl recounts her survival tale. Apio says that in 2010, during her movement with the Kony rebels, as they tried crossing the road, she hid and retracted, then met some Congolese soldiers who handed her over to the Red Cross in Congo. After the rescue, Apio spent 1 year with a Congolese lady in Congo who was in communication with Uganda's Red Cross. They tried tracing her parents, and through later exchanges this February, it was proved that she was indeed their long-lost daughter. The journey back home only started last week, and now that she's home, Apio wants to start schooling again and rebuild her education. As her family members and friends jubilate over her return, there are some two ladies that are leaving evidence of Kony's gruesome acts in the region. For Cecilia Amaya of Lokude village in Orungo sub-county, Namuria district, she's still suffering after an assault on her arm by the rebels. Her husband was killed as she looked on, and now only her kind fellow villagers help out with feeding. Meanwhile, for Akelo Alugeresu in Ojukot village, she narrowly escaped death after the rebels set her on fire. The scars tell the tale.
This is the first time I have seen a bullet of this size, but I saw it being used by the LRA.
In 2003, though fought off by the Arab boys, the LRA rebels destroyed many homes in Teso region and left scores dead.
Mass grave that contains bones of people that we were not able to identify. This graveyard there are 364.
Campaigns for the Bukoto South by-election are in high gear as both camps attempt to woo the voters to their side. While the NRM endorsed Alintu Mansambu as the official party flag bearer, the NRM mobilizer from Wakiso district, Haji Abdu Chiimba, went on an opposition ticket to decampaign NRM. As Hilary Yesiga explains, the key issue that is likely to decide this by-election is the allegiance to the kingdom.
The NRM Deputy Secretary General Dorothy Hua launched in Sambu's campaign with a call on NRM members to support the party flag bearer. But the internal bickering within the NRM party and their candidates' allegiance to the Kabaka are still key factors to overcome. Hua acknowledges that internal bickering in the party has led to the NRM losing by elections, but she hopes this challenge can be overcome.
Of course, internal bickering, also monitoring of and supervision at times in the box during guitaring has led us in one way or the other. But this time we want to make sure that we work as a team to monitor, supervise our vote, and we win.
But as the NRM party continues to woo the voters, one movement mobilizer, Haji Abdu Chiimba, used the DP platform to decampaign in Sambu in Bukoto South.
Kamange mbabazi ngaisa musekolo w'NRM wa Kiso nano Chiimba watugambye baluwa zawe bakulopye ntakaluka Bukoto South akabali ntuma Sambu gokononye emugatu mukamange mbadde kusama yambala kukaluka amatu yasubuga.
Alintu Mansambu, the former ICT minister and area MP, seems not shaken, and he is asking the voters to give him another chance. He pledged to promote education in the area by distributing computers.
President Museveni has called upon institutions of learning to stop teaching students in fields where many are working already. Instead, the president said that the syllabus should be tuned to the neglected fields of study which do not have enough of the populace working in when out of school. Museveni was speaking at the anniversary celebrations of Mary Hill High Golden Jubilee in Mbarara.
Sweeping through Mary Hill High School was a celebratory mood. It started with having a mass and singing church hymns. After receiving the spiritual blessing, the students entertained their guests, inclusive of parents, teachers, former students and staff, as they waited for the chief guest, President Museveni, to officially open the function that would recognize their 50 years of existence as Maryhill High School. The wait was not long. The president arrived to an already enthused crowd. In his speech, the school advised the proprietors of the school and others in Uganda to teach according to the needs in the field.
Civil service is not something you should train for, because there are too many people there. The ones who are there are not likely to die quickly, because life expectancy has also increased. Therefore, we must train for completely new fields. Fields which are not easy to circulate.
He cited the needy area of hospitals, which need over 17,000 more doctors to serve the population of Uganda, which is ever on the increase, according to the Population Secretariat, by 3.2% per annum, one of the highest growth rates in the world. The headmistress of the school took the president's presence as an opportunity to bemoan the lack of funds to aid the school. In offering a solution, the president urged her to turn to the alumni of the school for help. Nonetheless, he pledged some money to aid the infrastructure in the school. When all the speeches were complete, the president cut the cake decorated with the school's years of existence. 50, a special Golden Jubilee celebration it was.
We'll now take a very short break. There's still so much more ahead on NTV Weekend Edition, and here's what you can expect.
Following a week of protests over the payout of the Youth Fund, in our political feature tonight, we assess the fund's relevance in addressing unemployment. And in sport, golf officials looking forward to bidding to host world competitions. NTV Weekend Edition continues after this break. Don't go too far.
This is NTV.
The mountain gorilla is considered endangered species, with only about 720 mountain gorillas left in the world. And these live within 4 national parks split into 2 regions: Bwindi Impenetrable Forest National Park, Mahinga Gorilla National Park in Uganda, Volcanoes National Park in Rwanda, and Virunga National Park in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The gorilla is the largest of all living primates and has a robust build with long muscular arms, a massive chest, and broad hands and feet. It has longer and darker hair than other species, allowing it to live and travel at high altitudes where temperatures drop to below 0 degrees Celsius. The gorillas can be identified by nose prints unique to each individual.
The
Youth Entrepreneurship Venture Capital Fund may have caused massive excitement amongst the youth, but the celebration is quickly dying out for the majority of the young people. And we asked, do you think government was prepared enough for the Youth Fund scheme? I repeat, do you think government was prepared enough for the Youth Fund scheme? To have your say, send your comment to 8778. Make sure you let us know where you're texting from and your name as well. Let's now quickly sample some of your comments so far. We've got Im Masereka in Kilembe saying, and it was ready, but the people who were concerned destroyed the whole system. And he goes on to say that we do need prayers. Mpola in Seta saying, no, the government was not prepared at all. How many youth have benefited from this fund so far? And we have Isaac in Iganga saying, no, the government was not prepared at all. Focus would be on skill development before providing capital. God should rescue Uganda leadership. All right, there's still time for you to have your say. The number once again is 8778. We'll be sure to read some more of your responses at the very end of tonight's newscast. Now moving on, and across the border, U.S. officials have been ordered to leave Mombasa in fear of an imminent terror strike in the coastal city. Kenya has been on high alert following terror strikes in various parts of the country. This follows the arrest of 2 Iranians with explosives 3 days ago in Nairobi, who were also linked to the 15 kilograms of white powder recovered in Mombasa, said to be one of the components used to make explosives.
This is the first time the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi is ordering evacuation of its citizens from any region in Kenya. Beyond asking its citizens to leave, all U.S. government travel to the port city has also been suspended for 1 week. In a task statement, the embassy warned that it has received credible information of an imminent terrorist attack and travel to Mombasa was not advisable for U.S. citizens. The statement went on to say all U.S. government personnel were to leave Mombasa. The United States Agency for International Development has a heavy presence at the coast. The statement, however, clarified that U.S. private citizens are not subject to this restriction, but should consider the information in their travel plans nonetheless. But the travel advisory has been greeted with outrage in government, with Head of Public Service Francis Kimemia terming the advisory a setback to the war against terrorism. Kimemia said the Kenya government was not given advance notice of a travel advisory whose implications to Kenya's economy were grave. Reacting to the U.S. warning, Police Commissioner Matthew Tere said security agencies are vigilant to ensure maximum security, allaying fears of such attacks. At the coast, police say they are taking the American warning seriously.
Whether we have those intelligence reports or not, all the time our forces outside in the field are quite alert and are doing their work as usual of making sure that our people in Mombasa and any other town in the coast province go about their duties without the fear of terrorism.
The U.S. warning is likely to impact negatively on tourism with the high season just kicking in, but the ministry in charge is giving an assurance.
To boost visitors' confidence on Kenya as a destination, the government will continue to scale up security measures, especially within tourism facilities across the country.
However, presidential aspirant Peter Kenneth is unhappy with the Kenya security intelligence.
To our security forces, especially the National Security Intelligence, whose prime job is to get this kind of information in advance, that we do not have to rely on a foreigner to tell us there are terrorists in our own country. Our own organizations need to be on the forefront of ensuring the security of Kenyans is guaranteed.
The warning by the U.S. comes barely 3 days after 2 Iranians were arrested with explosive materials as they were checking into a hotel in Nairobi Tuesday night. The 2 who were later flown to Mombasa for interrogation were suspected to be planning an attack in the East African region. The 2 are said to have connections with the 15 kilograms of a powdered substance found abandoned at the golf club in Mombasa, believed to be a component in making explosives. This recent arrest and recovery of bomb materials also came after police recovered a container at the port loaded with explosive material. The container had been snaked into the country. The government has been on the spot over what some believe is laxity following various attacks in the country. The British High Commissioner, however, says his government will continue to fund Kenya to fight all elements of insecurity.
The British government is working very, very closely with the government of Kenya to increase the stability and security of Kenya. That involves work on piracy, work on the coastal environment that is relevant down here in Mombasa.
Kenya has witnessed several hit-and-run grenade attacks in recent months in Nairobi, northern Kenya and Mombasa. Kenyan authorities have often blamed such attacks on Al-Shabaab from neighboring Somalia. Harith Salim, NTV.
Now, mounting pressure on the government over the youth fund has arisen from the growing demand to access the money by the young people. This week, hundreds of the youth have been mounting pressure on city authorities demanding for the funds. In the financial year 2011-2012, government earmarked 44.5 billion shillings as a venture capital fund to create more jobs. But as the financial year comes to an end next week, many are still wondering the whereabouts of the money. And in our political feature this weekend, our reporter Jingo Francis examines the fund and its relevance in addressing the soaring unemployment rates in the country.
Currently, the youth in Uganda are estimated to be about 65% of the total population of nearly 34 million Ugandans, and about 85% of the youth have no formal employment, a situation described as a time bomb waiting to explode. And the Population Reference Bureau, a Washington, D.C. based research and advocacy group says Uganda's population growth of 3.5% is way ahead of the world's population growth, which is 1.2%. Analysts say this is a worrying trend because population growth that cannot be matched by the ability of the economy to create jobs will only lead to worsening unemployment. The current overall unemployment rate is estimated at 3.6%, while the urban unemployment rate is about 8.7%, with 79.4% of the working population is self-employed. The agriculture sector employs 66%. Of the 400,000 Ugandans who enter the labor market each year, only about 113,000 Ugandans are absorbed in a formal employment, leaving the rest to fight for jobs in the informal sector. During the financial year 2011-2012, government earmarked 44.5 billion shillings as a startup capital to establish businesses so as to create more jobs. 25 billion shillings was channeled through 3 commercial banks and 16 billion shillings was to set up markets or working places in Kampala to allow young people establish businesses.
Whereas we welcome this money, we find ourselves, the young people who represent the youth MPs who represent the young people, in a very big trouble, because for the last 1.5 years that we've been in Parliament, there's nothing we've been doing other than fighting for this money.
We had to bribe these people in the registry of companies. You leave that place after leaving there 300,000 at most, because most of the youth used to cry from that area.
But as we talk, even lawmakers cannot account for the whereabouts of the money as the financial year comes to an end.
In Arua, there are 3 youth who have accessed this money. In Koboko, the district where I come from, there are 20 young people who have received this money. In Kitgum, Macholi sub-region, there are 4 youth who have received this money. In Gulu, no one has received this money. In the whole of Karamoja, 7 districts, no one has received this money. So I really can't also accept the fact that they're saying that there are 3,000 young people who have received this money.
Many of these youths claim that ever since government announced this fund, they have invested a lot and yet nothing is forthcoming.
Every requirement we got it, but only the problem that we've had, I think it's the problem of politics, politicizing everything.
We forwarded our business proposals, which were accepted, and we were put on the list of those who are going to earn from the program. Right now, they are bringing their politics into this.
Kampala Capital City Authority says the mode of disbursement has changed and now money can only be accessed through banks, contrary to the earlier communication.
KCCA did not have the ability to manage a fund of that nature. First of all, they were challenging the vetting process. They were telling us there were fictitious youth groups.
It needed to do it through the institutions that have the capacity in terms of managing the entire process of disbursing this money and also ensuring recovery. Remember, these are government funds. It's not a token of appreciation to someone, so it's money that is supposed to be returned.
So for us, what we are saying, we are calling upon a mass demonstration on Monday.
Out of the 16 billion shillings under KCCA, only 3.6 billion shillings will be loaned out.
Huge liability, 3.6 billion shillings. I personally don't want to be liable.
16.5 billion was given to Kampala alone to construct markets. Not that the young people are supposed to go again and access this money as loans. Up to today, no market has been constructed. Now I'm hearing all of a sudden, Madam Jennifer Musisi is saying that the money should go to the banks and the young people should go and access it there. Do they want to say that the young people are going to access this money and then construct the markets on their own?
A simple calculation of the 28 billion shillings meant for borrowing, if all the unemployed youth are to have a share, this means each is likely to get only 9,000 shillings. This is a drop in the ocean. Government may have to make tangible reforms in the education sector that provides skills for self-employment rather than job seekers in the formal sector. Jingo Francis, NTV.
Well, in order to expound on these issues, Evelyn Anite, the Northern Youth MP, joins me here in the studio tonight. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first, the financial year is coming to an end next week, and a lot of people are wondering about the whereabouts of this money. As a leader, do you know?
Well, the money is in the bank. It's in the three banks, and that is DFCU, Centenary, and Stanbic. And some of the young people have really accessed this money. Like I earlier on said, the young people in my region, some of them have accessed this money. Some have failed to access the money due to the conditions. Some of the conditions, like a young person is supposed to have a land title. They don't have any land that they own. And then there's some conditions like guarantors. You should produce 2 guarantors, which is a condition that as youth leaders we approved. But then they've said that the guarantors also have to declare the assets. So it's a big challenge for some of the young people to access the money. That's why you hear the outburst that actually the money is not there. But in reality, the money is there, only that they are failing to meet some of the conditions.
So the conditions are stringent.
Exactly.
All right. So there've been protests. There were protests most of last week, including the offices of the Nakawa Lord Mayor being, ambushed or stormed. Has this cast the campaign in bad light? Because ideally it's a good thing that money is going to be disbursed to the young people.
Yeah, I would say it has casted the campaign in a bad light, in the sense that people are politicizing it. There are even people who are not young per se, but they are fighting for this money, and they're shouting and chanting political slogans when they're demanding for this money. Yet this money actually does not have any political boundary. Whether you're NRM, DP, FDC, or UPC, the money is for a young person between the age of 18 to 30, 35. So I don't see why, when you're demanding for the money, you should go ahead and start shouting, make it so political, and then they're even shouting cultural slogans, anthems. So for me, I see some of the young people going on the wrong side. We should really stop fighting on alongside political lines. We should fight for this money, or demand for it as a young person, and say, yes, it's our right to have the money because the government has put it there for us, and therefore we have to demand for it.
All right, so tonight in our weekend poll, we are asking whether government was really prepared for this scheme. What do you think?
I think the NRM government was prepared for this money, because if you look at the NRM manifesto, actually this money is spelled out clearly in the manifesto. Only that it was meant for the young people who are between the age of the young people who have at least O-level certificate. That is what is written in the manifesto. The challenge that has come along with the money is that the technocrats who are meant to implement the program did not understand, they didn't do enough research. That is why after 4 months after the money was sent to the banks, actually it was due to the demand that we put as the youth MPs on the Ministry of Finance, that the money was eventually taken to the banks. You can see that they sent us to go and do a study. The 5 of us, the youth MPs, were sent to 5 different countries to go and do a study of how youth funds in those countries are being operated. That means that the technocrats did not understand how they're supposed to give out this money and whom they're supposed to give the money to. They even didn't do a study of which bank can give out the money, because that explains why initially they just say that DFCU will give out the money. But if you look around, DFCU is only in in only municipalities,
a few areas, yes.
And then we had to mount another pressure on them and say that, okay, fine, this money can't only go to municipalities, it has to go to other rural areas. That's why they opened up and brought in the Centenary, DFC, Stanbic
Bank.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, as we enter a new financial year, what are your hopes for the Youth Fund going forward?
I am very optimistic. I hope that the young people are going to get this money. Only that we need to, looking at the new money that has come out in this financial year, the 16 billion for graduates, it's not clear. We hope that the government comes out clearly on who exactly is going to get this money, because if that is not also indicated, it's going to bring the same problem. We're going to start fighting because we will not know who is a fresh graduate. Are you talking about a young person who has graduated this financial year or something?
All right. Thank you very much, Evelyn, for having time to speak to us. We do appreciate.
Thank you very much.
All right, I have been speaking to Evelyn Anite, the Youth MP for Northern Region, as we reflect on the latest controversy surrounding the Youth Fund. Now, moving on, and following the budget pronouncements by the Finance Minister for the next financial year, some people have been paying tax, may not pay altogether, and perhaps some may pay less than they have been paying. Does this mean that these have got more spending money or some money to save? It depends on how you look at it. This is our issue for our personal finance segment this week.
For the first time in a long time, government shifted the income tax threshold, where today, from zero income to 235,000, no paying income tax. To the people in this bracket, whether they know it or not, in principle, they are making a saving.
For a change in the threshold from 130 to 235 is that this person will have his or her income of the difference between the 235 and 130, which is 105,000 shillings, as being tax-free.
So as much as the times are hard, a saving from tax of 100,000 shillings perpetual on your salary means that you could now save some of it for a rainy day. The decision is yours, but you could make sure that this money that is not subject to tax does not all melt away in expenditure if possible. However, this is how the tax bands looked like until the end of this financial year. Those that earned 130,000 shillings and less paid no income tax. Those who earned 130,000 to 235,000 paid 10% in tax. From 235,000 to 410,000 shillings, you paid 20%. And from 410,000 onwards, the pay was 30%.
Come July, with the recent changes, of course, these bands are going to change, because like now the first band is between 0 and 235. They are going to have to publish new bands for taxing this income.
So it's not clear if more people will save some money within these tax bands, which means that pay attention to the factor that you may begin to relate your income and your tax obligation, and whether it's altogether possible to at least save some money. Samuel Setumba, NTV.
Now I'm joined by Joel Kamadi, who is here to bring us the very latest in NTV Weekend Sport.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Now, Palm Valley Golf Course is set to host a World Championship with elite players such as Tiger Woods competing. I'll be telling you more on this in NTV Weekend Sport up next.
This is NTV.
Good evening, I'm Joel Kamadi and welcome to NTV Weekend Sport. Now tonight, Palm Valley Golf Course is set to bid to host a world championship with elite players such as Tiger Woods competing, but this will only come to pass when their facilities are given a facelift before bidding for inclusion in the international calendar. This was revealed during the Ladies Shield Championship as the outgoing president of the Women's Golf Union assessed her executives' achievements and failures.
Uganda Ladies Golf Union leadership closed their calendar last evening with the President's Shield won by Lydia Mutesi at Palm Valley Golf Course. The event had the outgoing president urging the incoming officials to ensure they work hard to ensure the youth play in international competition while acknowledging her failure to send one to the Manchester tournament.
We have improved the participation of the ladies locally and internationally. I can assure you, Uganda lady golfers are now recognized out there, and they have done very well.
Meanwhile, management at Palm Valley Golf Course are in preparation to have their facilities meeting the international standards. They are to upgrade their course from a 9-hole to 16 before bidding to host a world championship and elite players in Uganda.
Develop it to a tour course. A tour course meaning that we can attract golfers, international golfers like Tiger Woods.
Uganda Golf Union is currently in battles with the private developers encroaching on their land in different parts of the country. Alfred Odong, NTV Sport.
Now, the Uganda Kickboxing Federation will kick off the second leg of the 2012 National League next month in Uganda with the aim of extending the game to the eastern region of the country. The move follows the launch of the Uganda Start College Kickboxing Club.
Clubs led by defending champions UPDF will gather at Uganda Start College Busagwa to kick off the second leg of this year's National Kickboxing League. The venue launched this week with the demonstration of skills to the players of the newly formed Uganda Kickboxing Club. Will host the second leg on 20th July. National champion Titus Tugume, who is preparing to defend his title against Malik Kalisa next weekend, witnessed the launch of the club. Club founder and director of Uganda Start College, Henry Dicksoka, says he was inspired to take the sport to his school by Moses Golola's intercontinental fight last year. Apparently, the UPDF kickboxing team are leading the points tally at 12 from the first leg, closely followed by Gulu with 10 points. Another victory for the Army boys in Iganga will once again put them on course to a back-to-back title. Sam Poza, NTV Sport.
Now, Pride Secondary School have retained the Mityana District Post-Primary Athletics Championships for the fourth consecutive time after winning the 2012 District Championships. The champions garnered 323 points in the championship held at Nama Sports Ground. 8 schools took part in the event that saw the hosts Nama Secondary School come second with a total of 159 points. Mityana Town Academy registered third position after collecting 94 points. Kiwawu Secondary School and Kigwa finished 4th and 5th respectively. The individual winners in the various categories qualified to participate in the national championship.
Are you ready to drink at the table of men?
Well, that's all the sport we had for you this weekend. Back to you, Rachel.
Thank you very much, Joel Kamadi. We'll now take a very short break. We'll be right back with more of your comments from our NTV Weekend poll.
This is NTV.
To be honest, it's one of the most scary genres of music for me.
For me every day. Irifemasi nisu tadi magero.
Welcome back. Let's now take you back to tonight's NTV Weekend Poll, and we asked you, do you think government was prepared enough for the Youth Fund scheme? Thank you so much for all your comments. Let me now sample a few of them. I have Spencer in Kampala saying no, government was not prepared. Government needed to do research and educate the youth about the fund. And David in Toro saying no, the fund was has since turned out to be a myth. Call it a political gimmick. And we also have Michael Queen Bukedia saying no, the government was not ready. The youth are just being duped that there is money, and yet the banks have stringent conditions to deny the youth the money. Well, thank you very much for all your responses. The majority of you seem to be saying no, and we do appreciate you taking part in NTV Weekend Poll. That concludes NTV Weekend Edition for tonight. NTV Tonight returns tomorrow. Keep it right here with NTV. I am Rachel Initwe, wishing you a very good night and a great week ahead.
This is NTV.